The night Amara stopped smiling at her husband was the night everything began to fall apart. In the quiet neighborhood of Maple Close, David and Amara were the couple everyone admired. They had a warm home, successful careers, and the kind of laughter people dreamed about. But behind closed doors, something silent was growing, like a shadow no one could see. Amara sat by the window most evenings, watching the empty driveway. David used to call her my sunshine, but now work had swallowed him whole. The woman who once felt cherished now felt invisible. Then came Tunde, David's business partner. His smile was smooth, his voice was warm. He noticed the little things David had forgotten. The way her hair fell on her shoulder, the sound of her laugh. Amara felt alive again, and it scared her. The messages started as jokes. Then came midnight calls, whispered laughter, and silent smiles. One night as David slept beside her, Amara stared at her phone and whispered softly, "I deserve to be happy too." David didn't want to believe it. But when he came home early and heard her whispering on the phone, lying about who she was speaking to, something shifted. The air between them felt colder. Later that night, while she slept, David reached for her phone. An unknown number lit up. David's heart stopped for a moment. The perfect picture of love had just cracked. David didn't confront her, not yet. He became a quiet observer in his own home. Amara smiled more, laughed more, but never with him. Tunde whispered sweet things. He said, "You deserve more than just being someone's wife." And Amara, she started to believe him. She began to dress up for nights out. She said it was ladies' night or a church meeting, but David knew the weight of a lie, even when it was wrapped in perfume. One weekend, she said she was going on a retreat, but she went to a hotel with Tunde instead. She laughed freely, like a woman in a story that wasn't hers. David followed his gut, quietly, carefully. He saw them through the hotel lobby window, their hands brushing, their smiles too soft. He didn't enter. He just drove home in the dark, with silence as his only witness. Hours later, his phone buzzed. An unknown number. A photo of Amara and Tunde holding hands. A message followed. "You need to know the truth before it's too late." David's hand shook. The storm was no longer coming. It was here. David grew quieter. His silence pressed against Amara like a weight she couldn't ignore. Every smile felt fake. Every dinner felt like a stage. Tunde kept whispering promises. He said, "Leave him. Be with me. We can start a new life." His words were soft, but his plans were sharp. Aisha, Amara's closest friend, saw the cracks. She begged her to stop. "You are playing with fire," she warned. But Amara was already too close to the flame. David hired Detective Bayo. What he uncovered was darker than David expected. Tunde wasn't just after Amara's heart. He was after David's company, his future, his everything. David invited Tunde over for dinner. The room was quiet, too quiet. When David casually mentioned Tunde's name, Amara's fork slipped from her hand. Her heart knew something was coming. Later that night, Tunde entered the house. He thought David was away. He leaned close to Amara and whispered, "By the time he finds out everything, he'll have nothing left." A deep voice came from the shadows. David stepped out and said, "I already know." The living room was filled with heavy breathing and silence sharp enough to cut. Tunde's smile was gone. Amara's heart pounded. David's eyes were cold. Detective Bayo laid everything bare. Forged documents, secret plans. Tunde was using Amara to bring David down. She wasn't his love, she was his weapon. Tunde tried to escape, but the police were ready. The man who once spoke softly now shouted in handcuffs. Amara begged for forgiveness, but trust is like glass. Once it's broken, it never shines the same again. David didn't yell. He didn't curse. He simply let go. Months later, the house was quiet again. Divorce papers were signed. David rebuilt what was broken. Amara stood outside whispering to herself, I lost more than the husband. I lost a home. One morning, David received a letter. It was from Amara. Inside wasn't just an apology, but a secret he never knew. And as he read the first line, his heartbeat slowed. The past wasn't done with him yet. Lies may bring excitement, but truth always comes knocking. Betrayal does not just end love, it changes people. Trust is like glass. Once broken, it never shines the same again.